Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'll kind of be going over the markets, kind of what my outlook is on the week, and essentially just, do what we do every day. But I want to start this video and just give a big shout out to my mentor, the Inner Circle Trader, and to thank him for everything he's done, everything that he's done in my life, how he's helped me become a better trader, become more patient, helped me deal with my emotions, and simply just giving his time, dedicating his life to this, and just seeing that in him, and just, getting the repercussions of it, and just being a better trader myself. And I know a lot of people out there are using his concepts and are profitable, and I think it's just simply amazing that he was able to dedicate his life to this and then dedicate his life to helping others learn this. So big shout out and big thank you to the Inner Circle Trader. Thank you so much for everything you've done. And yes, you just had your last Twitter space this weekend, so that is simply why I'm saying thank you for everything. Thank you for helping me become a better trader. Thank you for helping my life. Thank you for helping my family's life. And just simply, thank you. I'm forever grateful. So, with that being said, I hope we all had an amazing weekend, are refreshed and ready to get back on the charts. It is Monday, and we are just gonna dive right into it. I did not take a trade this Monday. I've decided, hey, you know what? Mondays are not my best days. So instead, I just simply watched price action and seen what we did this morning, and essentially just kind of followed along with price and learned, and I'll kind of show you what that looked like. So let's start on the weekly chart because it is Monday. So on the weekly chart, we can see, hey, last week we traded into this weekly fair value gap, took out this low, or 2 weeks ago, took out this low and traded into about the consequent encroachment of that weekly fair value gap before moving higher. Last week we did have a bit of a run higher just because that Friday day, yes, we did eventually trade higher, which was crazy. We do have this weekly fair value gap here. We took out these weekly highs last week. We are trading around the consequent encroachment of that weekly fair value gap, so it'll be interesting to see if we do go higher, if we're going to push into this daily fair value gap, which I'll show you guys, or if we close in this weekly fair value gap and trade above these highs. We could do that. We could also trade down into this weekly fair value gap, filling that in, and potentially into this weekly fair value gap down here. I do have this weekly low marked out, so we will see, we'll kind of watch those levels, and throughout the week just kind of watching and seeing what the market wants to do. Right now I'm kind of neutral on the market because we did just take out these relative equal highs on the weekly chart, so we could move higher and fill in this weekly fair value gap. However, we did just take out this area of buy side liquidity, so we might be looking for some lower pricing now. So we'll kind of go through that later on in the week, see where we're at. Let's jump down to the daily. All right, so we do have this daily fair value gap here that I want to see potentially reached if we are going to go higher. Again, we're trading around that consequent encroachment of the weekly fair value gap, so we might essentially just either kind of maneuver around and then drop lower, or we could trade higher into this daily fair value gap here, and then potentially these weekly highs, relative equal highs on the daily chart over here. Again, we have this daily fair value gap that we traded into last week, came down to the consequent encroachment on Friday, and then moved higher, taking out these relative equal highs, not quite trading into that daily fair value gap, but we did trade into this daily fair value gap. So we're kind of just like looking, we did go into higher pricing, and not saying that we're done, like we're not picking tops or bottoms, but we could potentially drive higher into the daily fair value gap before going lower, or simply go lower, or simply go higher. So we're going to keep an eye out. Again, today I didn't really have too much of a bias to go on. I was kind of just watching the markets. It is Monday, there's no news today. There is news Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week, however, so we could see some better runs, faster market sort of deal. So let's jump down to the 1 hour. All right, so again on the 1 hour, we did have that run on Friday, came down, and then we kind of traded back up into this new day opening gap, traded lower, taking out this low before moving higher. And I'll show that too on the 1 minute chart, kind of how I was documenting that. But yeah, again, we had like this run lower, higher, we have this opening range gap here, and before taking out these lows at 9 a.m. And yeah, it was like maybe we could reach into this 1 hour fair value gap, but we didn't. We just took out this low before moving higher. Let's drop down to the 15 minutes. Again, 15-minute time frame. I had these low marked out. I had the London session lows, and then I had this low, just because that is a swing low / relative equal lows here. So, you know, with relative equal lows, we're likely to draw to that level and take it out, and we did in fact do that before trading higher. So our opening range gap started here. I have that blue line marked out, and now we're closing in that opening range gap after taking out these relative equal lows. So this is good news. This is something I wanted to see. When we first opened up, I wanted to see this 15-minute fair value gap be respected. It did. We traded into it at 9:30 a.m. before moving lower. Then we took out these lows at 9:45, and then I just saw the market kind of moving higher. I'll go down to the 5-minute and kind of show more on like what I was seeing. So obviously we traded into that 15-minute fair value gap and then moved lower. We had this 5-minute fair value gap here. I extended it. I wanted to see price respect it and go lower, or break through it, use it as somewhat of an inversion fair value gap. And we did do that. We did respect it, go lower, taking out these relative equal lows at 9:55 before moving higher, closing above that 5-minute fair value gap. That's when I was like, all right, we could potentially see higher pricing. I didn't want to see this happen when we closed below the 5-minute fair value gap before moving higher again. But on the 1 minute chart, it's a little bit more clean, and I'll kind of show you what I was looking at this morning. All right, so on the 1 minute fair value or 1 minute time frame, we have the 5-minute fair value gap here. We can see that the market was kind of consolidating. We did have a couple break in market structure after taking out these relative equal lows. We had a break in market structure, so that could have been our shift in market structure. Came down into this little volume imbalance, traded higher, breaking market structure, came back down. We didn't take out that low, which was awesome to see. Traded higher. We had this 1 minute fair value gap. I wanted to see the market respect it. We kind of sort of did before breaking out of the 5-minute fair value gap one more time, but we just traded into this little 1 minute volume imbalance. And as you can see, the market filled that in perfectly. Like that is a perfect fill of the volume imbalance before we traded higher. Again, break in market structure, came back down into the 5-minute fair value gap and the 1 minute fair value gap. So right here would have been a great entry. Again, it is Monday. We don't really want to trade on Mondays. So we just price watched the market. We came back down into this 1 minute fair value gap inside that 5-minute fair value gap before moving higher. Look at how we traded down into this volume imbalance. Traded down into it one more time. Now we have these relative equal highs. Boom, traded higher. We then came down into this 1 minute fair value gap and this 1 minute order block before boom, moving higher again. We then traded into this 1 minute fair value gap. Look at the bodies respecting that level right there before eventually moving higher. Came back down into this 1 minute fair value gap, moved higher into that new week opening gap level perfectly, that new week opening gap low, moved down back into this 1 minute fair value gap one more time perfectly, I might add. Look at that perfect retracement right there. And then of course, moving higher, taking out these lows over here, or highs over here, and trading outside of that new week opening gap, now aiming for the buy side liquidity and potentially the daily wick consequent encroachment. So we have some great market action happen this morning. I mean, it was really beautiful when we traded outside of this 5-minute fair value gap, down into this 1-minute volume imbalance to trade higher, had that shift in market structure, came back down, 1-minute fair value gap, boom, entry, again our 5-point stop loss. Now the cool thing is we had multiple potential entries. So if the daily wick consequent encroachment is our objective, look at how many entries we had. We had another entry right here, this 1-minute volume imbalance, traded higher, came back down, 1-minute fair value gap, and this 1-minute order block. Enter here. Right? We had another entry right over here. And then, of course, we had one more entry before that would have been kind of our equilibrium. So we're like, okay, we had 4 entries that we could potentially profit off of. This 1-minute fair value gap, this 1-minute inversion volume imbalance, 1-minute fair value gap paired with the 1-minute order block, and then 1-minute fair value gap. As you guys can see, like, that is some beautiful price action. Again, it is Monday, so we don't necessarily trade on Mondays, but it was awesome to see how the market respected these key levels to a T. So seeing this price action, watching it, tape reading it, was just something awesome to see how well the market respected these levels, and of course traded into our objective of that buy side liquidity and now potentially the daily wick consequent encroachment levels. So I'll end the video here. I just wanted to show like how beautiful price action can be, how beautiful it can respect these key levels. Even on the 1-minute time frame, we can see that these levels are amazing, well respected, that's for sure. And yeah, I mean, thank you again to the Inner Circle Trader. I'm gonna be going over all your content and never stop learning from you, and I just want to say thank you again. Thank you for helping us so much, and thank you for teaching me how to become a better trader. And thank you to everyone who watches these videos. I really do appreciate all of you, and I appreciate the support that you're giving me, and I love the comments. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I will see you all tomorrow. All right, bye for now.